welcome along to the ProjectCars2 Virtual Racing League, where today we are continuing with our Xbox Championship. It's the GT3 cars. If you've been following it so far, we've had a couple of rounds and we're at round 3 today. It's at Donington Park, a favourite among a lot of our drivers in this championship. 2.5 miles, 12 turns, very quick track actually, over 100 mile an hour average speed. So it'll be interesting to see which cars and which drivers get on well here. Of course, 10-minute qualifying leading up into this. You can see the drivers who are taking part here today on the screen there. Apart from Dude Chef, we've been missing him from the championship, but I think everybody else there should be in this race. We'll have a look at the grid in a second now. But yeah, after a couple of rounds, we've had 2 different winners, and I wouldn't be surprised if we get a 3rd winner as well here today, such as the closest of this championship. Only 6 seconds separating the first and second places, roughly, more or less 6 seconds in the first 2 races. So it's going to be close here, hopefully, again today. And it's Cherryberry who leads the way after 2 podiums and a win at the last race as well at Long Beach. And he has a slender margin there over Scuderia Sam and Roger the Dodger in 2nd and 3rd. Stuart Davis and Subrosa having a great battle, along with Chris Doddy a bit further behind there with Alex Brown. And then Loopy McGee, Crazy Stewpot and D-Man as well, all battling away. And you can notice all the different cars as well in this championship, because we've got 2 drivers per car, so it's a team's championship as well. So Audi are leading the way. They've actually got 3 cars because of how Project Cars 2 works. There's actually 4 Audis to pick from in it. And then Ferrari second there, Renault, Porsche, Mercedes, Lambo. And the previous race at Long Beach, we'll have a little look at what happened, Alex.
Yep, a chaotic race where you see Alex, who started from pole, spun out very early as one of the Porsche goes off, and then Sabrosa and Chris came together. This is Free Gazelle and Adam battling away towards the back of the grid. As, most of the cars ended up like Free Gazelles, they were the bumper flapping away. You see here the tightness of it. It was quite packed really, a few grids. Sam spinning there, and that allowed Stu into the lead, but all in all it was a very entertaining race.
Yeah, as it's to be expected with a street circuit, especially racing into the night when the conditions are getting quite a lot colder. As you see Roger the Dodger making a great move there on Cherryberry. Didn't quite pay off in the end, he didn't manage to grab that win from him, but it's very close. Is that with the street circuit there are plenty of crashes along the way, and actually there are more crashes and overtaking and genuine overtaking manoeuvres almost, weren't there? But anyway, let's have a look at the track guys on board now today, and take it away, Alex.
Yeah, first corner into Redgate, try and go as wide as possible, down to 2nd gear, clip the curb nicely there and take the cones out, run it wide, now down the world famous crane of curves, 2 rights and into the left, slightly blind, now hard braking into the old hairpin, 3rd gear, hit the corner there, cut it slightly, run it wide nicely, there's a fast left kink here, and this next corner is pretty tricky. So McLean says you brake just after you turn left and then into this tricky right-hander. It's pretty blind in the braking spot. The same into Coppice here. It's blind, you want to go turning in before you even see the corner. Down to 2nd or 3rd depending on the car. Hold the car now on the exit. Longest straight now into the S's. Quite tricky really, especially in the wet. There's usually a big puddle there. Hard braking, down to 3rd or 2nd, again depending on the car. Hit the curbs quite hard. They can unsettle the car, but usually you can get away with it. Now another hard braking into Melbourne hairpin. 1st gear. Feels like ages in these cars getting around here, but as soon as you've straightened up, back on the throttle for another hairpin. This is Goddard's now. Back down to 1st. Quite tricky again. You want to just get the throttle, just goes wide there, and then across the line for a lap of Donington.
That was incredible, that lap there. You can see the driver fighting it all the way through, and you notice the elevation changes as well. But anyway, it was Alex CDL who put it on pole position, 2nd race in a row. He's been on pole, but will he be able to convert it today? That's the big question. After spinning quite a bit in the last race that we went at. Subrosa there in the Porsche going really well in 2nd. Stuart Davis 3rd, Crazy Stewpot, Cherryberry, Chris Doddy lining up behind them. Scuderia Sam in 2nd in the championship, but he's down in 7th starting today in the slow starting Ferrari. Alex Brown lines up right behind him, a good friend of his. So we'll see what happens in turn 1. Roger the Dodger and Loopy McGee right behind them, and then we've got D-Man and Adam. So, and it's a quick start here. The lights go out very quickly indeed. Stu Davis gets one of his trademark starts. We're used to seeing that by now. The two Mercedes down the inside there with Subrosa's Porsche on the outside. We've got Cherryberry lurking on the inside there in the Audi R8. Two Audi R8s going side by side. That's Crazy Stewpot and Cherryberry. And then rather predictably, Scuderia Sam's fallen back through the field. There's Chris Doughty in a green Lamborghini on the grass there. And this is Crazy Stewpot trying to attack his teammate there, Cherryberry, but staying out of each other's way. Subrosa as well has got past Alex. So it's Stuart Davis leading the way in the Mercedes, followed by Subrosa, then Alex, down from pole, down to third. Then Cherryberry for company behind him. And look at this now, it's Alex Brown attacking... who's this? I think it's Crazy Stewpot. Yeah, and Alex is off. He's on the grass and Crazy Stewpot's off too, and Alex Brown drives straight through the middle of them. So when Alex goes off, the other Alex drives straight past. Roger the Dodger in the mix too. And now Alex CDL and Scuderia Sam are battling away in the Mercedes and the Ferrari going down the back straight here, as Roger the Dodger is having a little look now in the Renault on Alex Brown's sole McLaren in this field, going down into the tricky chicane. He's going to try and wrong foot Alex as they head out of it. Oh, and he's hit the poor lads as they go flying. And now heading into the tight hairpin. This is a really good overtaking opportunity. And Alex who's on the inside. Roger Dodger squeezes him. Oh, and he makes big contact slam with Alex Brown. And Adam joins the party as well and removes Roger the Dodger's Renault spoiler from his car. And Alex CDL now has lost loads of ground. He's back down to 11th. This is exactly not what he wanted after the previous race. Pretty much the same thing happened to him. And he's down in 11th now, but he's ahead of D-Man's Ferrari, so he's having an even worse start as D-Man by the looks of it. Chris Doughty and Scuderia Sam, the big benefits of that, up into 4th and 5th after being well down. And Alex Brown as well lost out in that one. And that was a pretty chaotic start, wasn't it, Alex?
Yeah, pretty chaotic start. As you see the replay here. Great start from Stu in that Mercedes, really nailed it down. And see Alex taking out the cones there, going on the inside of Chris. He had a really good start as well. He's on board now with Adam, who also had a great start. It seems like a few of them really nailed their starts as he gets past the car on the right there, and then looking on the inside of, I think that's Loopy there in the other Audi, and looking around Sam. Sam gets a better exit. On board with Cherryberry now. Everyone seems to get a better start than Alex. He really dropped back at the start as just gives him a nudge there, telling him to hurry up. So he's the first corner, but he still wants to go ahead. And we can see now what happened to Alex. Looks like he just lost the back end and almost hit Subrosa out. So Subrosa's very lucky there. Quite nice that he held, didn't allow the car to go backwards into the pack. So quite fortunate really for everyone behind. And Crazy Stewpot just running wide. Might have seen what happened to Alex and just tried to avoid him just in case, but it caused him to go into the gravel, which allows Alex Brown and Roger through.
Yeah, and Scuderia Sam in that red Ferrari too, making up ground from the start. But we've seen that quite a bit with the Audi as he demolishes one of the advertising boards. It does seem to wash out and have a little bit of understeer, especially in the earlier stages of the race. We saw a lot at Long Beach, although it did come good in the end once the temperatures dropped there. So we'll see if that happens again here, although we won't be racing into the night in this race. And Alex Brown going wide, doing some lawn mowing in the McLaren, turning it into a very expensive John Deere machine there. But Stuart Davis now is under significant pressure from Subrosa's Porsche. Subrosa, one of the newcomers in this championship, along with Roger the Dodger and Adam as well as a relative newcomer. And Subrosa at the moment is really attacking and going for this lead. He seems to like Donington quite a lot. He does love his Porsches as well. And he's flashing his lights, telling Stuart Davis to hurry up because he wants to come through before Cherryberry catches them.
Ooh. That's Stu why they've made a mess of the S's there, and that's going to allow Cherryberry and especially Subrosa. Will Cherryberry try and take advantage of Subrosa? It looks like he is. Subrosa on the outside, Cherryberry on the inside. That's a great move. Stu got mugged there from first to third. That was some brilliant overtakers, but Stu's looking back now on the inside. Will Cherryberry try on the outside? He does, but he doesn't quite manage it, and Stu's back up to second. Some great battling there for the lead.
Yeah, great racecraft from all three of them there. Subrosa really caught Stuart sleeping, and so did Cherryberry for a little bit, but Stuart used his cunningness to get past Cherryberry once again into second. But I feel like it could run this battle between all three of them, to be honest. They're very evenly matched. There's a little bit of a gap back to Scuderia Sam. I thought, who was that running wide? Someone ran wide in the foreground then. Who was that? Was that McGee? We haven't seen Lucky McGee much in this race so far. Well, not at all actually, but there he is. The Scotsman ran wide there and gave up a few places by the looks of it. He's down to 11th now, but he's still ahead of that yellow Ferrari of D-Man. He seems to be struggling a little bit at this circuit. But let's hope for his sake that he manages to make up some ground. of course, we have got 4 weather slots in this race, haven't we, Alex? So we could possibly see rain.
Yeah, most of the weather slots will be clear with one random one, so it could all cause chaos if it definitely starts to rain, or even if it is light rain. It can really throw off people's game when it comes to tyres. But at the moment it's dry, so everyone will be concentrating on getting up the field, getting positions. So as you see, looks like Scuderia Sam overtaking Chris there for 4th place.
Yeah, I think he ran really wide coming out of Corpus Corner, and Chris managed to get him down the straight, but then Chris messed up the chicane, and Scuderia Sam sneaked back past. So a great battle going on between the Ferrari and the Lamborghini for 4th and 5th. 2 racers who know each other quite well. They frequently race in the league and have done for a while now. And Roger the Dodger now in the Renault doesn't seem to be liking the Renault very much around this circuit, as the pit window is now open. Let's remember. So Alex Brown looks like he's dived in the pits there, but Roger the Dodger fending off Alex CDL by the looks of it there. As Alex Brown is in the pits, we'll see where he comes out. Probably being last at the moment because no one else has pitted yet. But look at this battle going on. They've really caught Adam in the Lamborghini now, the multicoloured Lamborghini, and it's 3 cars battling away now as we head down the Craner curves into the old hairpin. Is the old hairpin somewhere where you can overtake in these cars, Alex?
If you're very brave, you can and get on the inside, but it's usually better to go for the next corner, as Alex has done a vanish trick. Where's he gone? I think he might have gone around again. Yeah, he's there. He's slow, and that's allowing Loopy to catch up to him.
That's incredible. He's struggling a little bit. Is it the Mercedes that's particularly difficult to drive, or is this Alex just a bit of frustration after the first lap?
I think it's more just the driver being a bit frustrated, put on pole, and silly mistakes like the incident at the hairpin, which would probably be under investigation at the end of the race. So it would most likely be a penalty, you'd have to imagine, for that. So that's also going to be playing on his mind. We go to a replay now.
Yes, we look at replay now. This is Chris Doughty, I think, getting the chicane wrong. Yeah, and then Scuderia Sam nips through on the inside there. Great little opportunistic manoeuvre. And I think, is that Crazy Stew Pot just behind them in the Audi? I think it might be, And he's looking to pick off any scraps that unfolds here between the 2 Italian rivals. And on board from Crazy Stew Pot. Oh, he gets Chris in the next lap then as well. So Chris messed up that chicane 2 laps in the row, quite possibly, by the looks of it there. And loses another spot to Crazy Stew Pot. So a good little battle going on between the 3 of those cars. You can see now we've got kind of different groups of cars battling away. We've got the top 3, then we've got 4th, 5th and 6th. And then we've got Adam and Roger the Dodger having a great battle. Alex CDL was part of that as well until he had another spin. But I think Alex needs to remember that the points are on the Sunday, isn't it? He needs to. He's got the pace. He's a phenomenally fast driver, possibly the fastest in the league over a lap. But he needs to convert this into the race. Otherwise, he's not scoring any points, is he?
Yeah, I don't think he's got any points at the moment. I think he's in no part at the moment. So we see Chris now really hustling Stu for 5th as Stu goes wide, and that's going to unsettle the car, and that's going to allow Chris really to catch up quite nicely as he looks on the inside for the left-hander, but he'll be on the outside for the right. Will he go around the outside? It was quite tricky. He already had the move done. That's a great move by Chris there. So Chris will be trying to make up ground to Scuderia Sam now. And the front 3, it looks like Sabrosa's pulling away a bit from Stu, but Cherry Berry is really on Stu's tail here, going into the S's.
He really is. Great move from Chris back there, of course, as well on Chris's Stew Pot. And Roger the Dodger now flashing his lights. He went through on the Lamborghini. It's Renault versus Lambo. The Renault isn't the best car around here, it seems, but he is giving it a really good go, and he's pressurising now Adam in the Lambo, who does seem to be going well here as well, let's be honest. He does seem to like this circuit. And he's defending, he's saying, no, you're not coming through today, Roger the Dodge. But Roger the Dodge knows no bounds when it comes to overtaking. He knows how to do it. Oh, and they make contact, and Adam spins round. And Roger the Dodge is on the grass, and now Roger is spinning as well. So I don't know whether that was in sympathy or maybe he did it on purpose. Now he's facing into the wall. That's not going to help. So he's found reverse though now, thankfully. Roger the Dodger gets going again now, and so does Adam. And Adam is ahead of Roger the Dodger. So that battle will go again, I think. But it looks like there, with the slower speed exiting the hairpin, they just lit up the rears, didn't they? And round they went. Yeah,
I think Roger just tried to get on the inside, and like you said, lit up the rears, and that's enough to send him around, and he just caught Adam, unfortunately, and they both went. But that's put Alex up to 7th now, which is quite surprising. You'd think he'd be last with all the spins, but must be doing something right. Now with Cherry Berry's fallen back a bit from Stu, and you can see Sam there lurking in the background, so he's had a bit of fresh air now. so he'll be trying to catch up to these front three. May even try to undercut them in the pits. It's hard to say really with the cars so close what you actually want to do when it comes to a pit stop, because it can really cost you time if you get it wrong.
Certainly can, and the drivers probably won't be taking on any fuel for this race. They'll be well fueled to the end unless there's a significant error with the game or with teams, whatever's going on there. But they probably won't be taking on tyres at this rate either, unless it starts chucking it down anytime soon, because before long now we are in that probably the second window now, aren't we, where we could be expecting rain. And at the moment it looks like the skies are pretty clear from what I've seen on the camera shots so far, so maybe they won't even need tyres. But these drivers are so evenly matched right now, we don't even need rain to spice this race up, because they're all just pushing to the limits. You can see Stu sliding the car around, Cherry Berry kicking up some dirt on the exit there. They're all pushing as hard as they can as Alex CDL now dives into the pit lane, so we'll see where he comes back out.
Yeah, he's playing a bit fast and loosely with the pit lane speed going in like that, but yeah, I think he must think that he's not going to rain, so he's pitting early just to try and get away as Adam goes wide, and that's going like Roger, and he's half spin. No one's there. That's quite lucky, because if the car's in the middle of the track and someone's coming, that could have been a big crash. But now D-Man's right on Adam's tail, so he'll be trying to get past.
Yeah, we've seen D-Man very successful in the GT3 cars in past GT3 races we've run, but he doesn't seem to be enjoying the Ferrari here at Donington. Why is that, Alex, do you think?
I think he's just gone back onto his steering wheel, because he was doing the gamepad for a while now and just getting back on the steering wheel, so he's probably getting used to it as he goes into the gravel there. So new car, new controller setup, it could be quite tricky for a few races before he gets going again, and see back down to 12.
Yeah, unfortunately, we were just saying how he's just getting used to it again, and he spun as we said it. But this is the other spin that happened not so long ago. Roger the Dodge eggs in the hairpin, got on the grass, lit up the rears as he made contact there with Adam's very bright Lamborghini. You won't miss that thing coming, will you? Let's be honest. Looks like Adam though was giving Roger Dodger plenty of room, but then he accidentally lit up the rears, didn't he? And then that slammed into Roger Dodge. So a bit of an unfortunate incident between the two of them there. And it's a shame then that Adam spun in turn one, because I was really looking forward to that battle, to be honest. It looked like a good little battle brewing up, but this is a good little battle brewing up as well, isn't it? Cherry Berry and Stuart Davis, these two have history.
Yeah, definitely got a history. I think they've been in every championship we've done now, and they always seem glued together in one way or another, whether they're teammates or whether they're battling, and you can just see how close these two are on pace, even though they're in completely different machines. So front engine rear wheel drive and mid engine wheel drive, V8, V10. So you can just show, even though they're different cars, really can be close at the front.
Yeah, that's the key thing with the GT3 Championship, isn't it? That all the cars do seem to be very, very, very close, especially over many rounds that this championship is being hosted over. You have different strengths and different weaknesses, different circuits, and yeah, just about the driver preference as well, what suits them. Some cars understeer, some cars oversteer a bit. Stuart Davis gets very oversteering for a sec there coming out the chicane. Well held, good bit of skill there to hold that one. Cherry Berry's looking at that, thinking, I'm getting him nervous, I'm going to get him at some point, and Stuart Davis is thinking, no, you're not getting me today.
Yeah, it's going to be quite tricky for Cherry Berry. He's against one of the best defenders, and Cherry Berry can be pretty good defending. As goes a bit deep there. That's going to allow Stu to get on the power early and pull away a bit, but it's still super close between those two. And with these two battling, that's just going to allow Sam and Chris in the background now to really just close up on them. So they've got to be careful.
Yeah, it's interesting that although they are battling, they're actually not losing too much time. They are losing time to Subrosi, who's consistently a few tenths of a second faster. But actually, they're matching the times that Scuderia Sam is doing, and to a certain extent Chris Doherty in the Lamborghini as well. So although those two are actually driving as fast as they can to try and catch them and hoping that they lose time to each other, they're actually not really closing that gap very much at all. Only, maybe a tenth or two, which isn't going to be enough really, unless they really start to lose time. But we'll have to see how that develops, to be honest, during the race. And now we're looking at, I think this is Alex Brown and Michael McGee, isn't it? The Scotsman versus the Welshman here. This could be very interesting. With the Six Nations match this weekend as well, Wales v Scotland.
Yeah, and there's also the Irishman, D-Man, looking in the background. As now jumped to the other Audi and Crazy Stew Pot with Alex looking behind him. So 2 great battles here, and for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. So there's battles all over the shop here as Loopy goes wide. Will he hold it? Oh, almost round. Just holds it. That's brilliant drive there. Sorry, that's yeah, that is Loopy McGee, and that allows Alex through. Oh, and the other Alex has gone through on the Stew Pot.
I was going to say, the Audis look quite similar, don't they, these ones? Cherryberry's house is a bit different, but Stewpot's and McGee's are fairly similar. I think Stewpot's in the number 4 Audi, unless I'm very much mistaken. Oh no, he's in the number 1 Audi, is he? And McGee in the number 1? I don't know. One of the two. But anyway, they both lost positions, the Audis there, so... Oh no, he's coming back though, look! Here's Gracie Stewpot now. Really good battle here with Alex CDL. Both drivers recovering a little bit after earlier incidents during the race. But yeah, look, they're really battling away, and down number 4, there we are, Gracie Stewpot's number 4, but he gets past Alex's Gulf liveried Mercedes there into the hairpin, but he's coming back now is Alex, and side by side now, these two have raced each other a lot. Oh, nice little cutback from Alex there, really good bit of racecraft, and then Gracie Stewpot sees him coming and manages to carry the momentum around the outside. This is fantastic racing from the both of them here, and attack and counter-attack, both working fantastically from both of them. Will Alex look around the outside or use the cutback? I think he's trying for the cutback here, but oh, he gets out of shape, and he just about manages to tap the brakes here, so the brake lights come on, and sort the car out before it was spearing off into that field on the right there. And you would have ended up with a very muddy Mercedes if that happened, and probably a very muddy seat as well in some degrees.
Yeah, I was going to say he's probably waiting for Alex to spin out, as you see Alex and the other Alex in the McLaren, Alex going wides, Alex in the McLaren just slowing down the inside. That's allowed the the Mercedes go on the outside. Now Loopy, Vegeta and Alex and go down the inside. It looks like he just let him past, or he missed, or he didn't change gear, but it was very easy for the Mercedes to go past.
Yeah, I mean, he'd probably say he just let him past, but quite possibly he missed a gear, who knows. Oh, Stewart running really wide now in the last corner. This is going to give Cherryberry a chance, and Cherryberry's on the inside now, but now this is going to become the outside for the next one. This is one of the things that makes this 1930s racetrack such a great venue for racing, is the switchbacks and the attack and counter-attack. And now Stuart Davis running a little bit wide, and they head down the Craner curves now. This is not a place you want to be running side by side with your nearest rival when you're so close on pace, is it, through the Craner curves? And I think Cherryberry realises that, backs out, and he's going to try and follow closely now through the old hairpin. Stuart clips that really nicely. We've seen Stuart in the past actually really nailing the old hairpin when the front wheel drive cars that we've been racing into in this league, and he seems to have followed through that form with the GT3s as well, hasn't he? And he's really, you can see the car drifting really nicely through there, but he's under significant pressure here from Cherryberry, and both these drivers know each other really well actually too, so it'd be interesting to see who gets the upper hand, but don't rule out coming together between them either, to be honest. Which car do you reckon strongest certain points of this circuit? Is Cherryberry stronger in any point you can see where you can get past Stuart?
Looks to be definitely on the braking on the mid-speed corners, as you see Stu drifting the car there, which is going to lose him some pace. But on the straights and out the corners, that Mercedes is so powerful. As Cherryberry now looks around the outside, Stu's going to close the door on him. You think, yeah, he does. Now there's another opportunity for Cherryberry now going into the hairpin. It looks like he's diving for the inside. Oh, he's having a look, but that's put Stu wide, and untouched, they're around and into the barrier. Oh, that's going to allow the front
they're in the
through.
barrier, and Stu's trying to reverse, and Cherryberry's driving into them. They're losing positions, look. They're both pinned against each other in the barrier. Eventually Stu has to reverse and say, after you, and he's coming straight in the pits, interestingly. Well, he might as well, he's in the pit entrance. There's no chance of him speeding in the pits, coming from that speed. Cherryberry's on his way, though. He's going round another lap, and they both would be kicking themselves for that. What on earth happens here, Alex? Talk us through this one.
Yeah, it just looks like Stu leaves a bit of a gap. Cherryberry thinks about it, then Stu looks like he loses the back end and tries to straighten up, and that catches Cherryberry out, who is on the inside of him, and they just make contact. It looks like an unfortunate racing incident, really. You can see Stu just gets on the throttle, tries to straighten up, and it's a bit too late at that point. They're together, and it's unlucky as both the Ferrari and I believe the Lamborghini go through.
Yeah, Scuderia Sam and Chris Doherty, who are doing their best to try and catch this battling pair, have now managed to just drive straight past them as they were stuck in the barrier. I'm sure they would have had big smiles on their faces there, and maybe a little laugh to themselves.
Yeah, and especially this man here starting in 7th, going and getting up to 2nd. I'm not sure he's pitted yet, but you still have to be happy with his position, especially as he's quite ahead of 4th place. Chris has also made up quite a few places as well, after 3rd now, and looks like he's coming to lap Luca McGeo, must have pitted to be that far back at this point.
It'd be nice if ProjectCars2 had a graphic showing how many pit stops drivers have done and when they pitted, because as commentators here, we really, unless we actually see it on the screen, it's impossible for us to know sometimes, isn't it? Especially with the great field of drivers we have in this championship too. It's hard to follow everybody all the time. Oh, it's pretty hard to follow Alex's spins as well, to be honest, because there's another one. We'll have to notch that one up on the board. But let's hope he gets them all out of the way in these early rounds, so that towards the end of the championship he can grab some wins, because he certainly needs them. And Alex Brown now in the McLaren, the sole McLaren in the field, is hunting them down in that familiar yellow and black livery that we see Alex Brown go for. And we've seen him racing in the PS4 Championship too. He's going quite well in the PS4, isn't he?
He's going really well in the PS4. So's Stu up in 6th after his pit stop. And it looks like Cherry Berry's going pit now as well, just to cover Stu off, you'd have to think, especially as the lap before was quite slow. But and he's... Sorry,
go on, Alex.
I'd say the other racer in the PS4 is Dan Holloway, who's unfortunately not raced with us the first few rounds, but hopefully he'll be in for the later ones.
Yeah, I think he selected the Renault, didn't he, for this one? Quite possibly.
Yeah, he's in a blue and orange Renault. He should be Roger's teammate, so Roger's doing it on his own at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Stuart Davis in the orange Mercedes in the background, but he hasn't quite managed to do it, even though he did tried to do the undercut on Cherry Berry, but Cherry Berry's come out and he's ahead of Stuart Davis still. So this is really interesting actually now, because Stuart Davis actually was ahead of Cherry Berry before they had their incident, and then of course Cherry Berry got ahead after that. So this is really interesting. So Stuart Davis, can he catch Cherry Berry? They seem to be really evenly paced, or will Cherry Berry be able to even go after Subrosa's Porsche now? Subrosa might be watching the timing boards quite interestedly here, because he's done a 30.3 the previous lap, which is a pretty slow lap, especially by his standards so far in this race. So he needs to watch Cherry Berry like a hawk, and so does Scuderia Sam actually, because he could be finding himself in the mix too, and Chris Doherty as well. So once they make their pit stops, the top three, it's all going to get really interesting to see where they all come out, isn't it?
Yeah, you could imagine Subrosa pitting quite soon just to cover those two off. Like you said, I don't think Roger's pitted yet. He was up in 4th after all the incidents in the earlier stages of the race. So it's mainly Subrosa, Cherryberry and Stu we've really got to keep an eye out, and possibly Scuderia Sam and Chris after they overtook the Audi and the Mercedes after their incidents.
Yeah, it's a good point that. Roger the Dodger, though, he's not just going to move over. He's in his own personal battles, isn't he? Although Cherryberry just got past him there, but it was Roger the Dodger in the pits. He might be. He's losing quite a lot of time, is Roger the Dodger. I think he might be in the pits, Alex.
Yeah, if Stu goes past him, yeah, he's definitely in the pits. Stu's just gone past him.
There he is.
Yeah, you can see him there on the right hand side. As looks like Alex is catching Stu Pot up again, so that battle looks like it's about to go for round 2. So where does Roger come out now? It sounds like the Mercedes, McLaren's going past, and he does. It's pretty close between these two again.
Yeah, the two yellow cars in the field are very tight together. Look at this, Roger Dodger gets an excellent run out of turn 1 here, and they're going through the crane of curves now. Alex Brown's up to full racing speed, and he knows where to place his car. He's an expert when it comes to defending, is Alex Brown. But Roger Dodger, we've seen in the first couple of rounds in this championship that he is willing to go for a move if it's on. And he didn't quite get a great exit though out of Old Hairpin there, probably not quite up to racing speed exit in the pits, so he really needs to try and catch Alex now and see if he can get past him. He's running wide a little bit of game now, so he is losing a little bit of time on this lap, but we'll see once his tyres come to him a little bit more now, coming out the pits, he might be able to put Alex under a little bit of pressure here. And Alex Brown now, he's got a little bit of breathing space now, but it would be really interesting to see how these two battle throughout the rest of the race. We're over halfway, of course, now. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see where they finish. Who's your money on?
Hard to say really, because it looks like Roger's struggling with the Renault around here, but it really shows how different tracks favour different cars. Roger was second place, I believe, at Long Beach, and now he's down in 9th. I know he had his incidents, but it just shows the difference one race can make. But I'd have to say at this point, Alex just to scrape it in the McLaren between those two. But it looks like Roger's making a move. Alex covers him off nicely. He'll get a good exit, but it's going to be so close between these two, the way they're battling.
Yeah, I'd say as well, Alex in the McLaren, based on the form of the cars at the circuit. But if Roger the Dodger can keep Alex under pressure, keep with him a little bit, I think he's got a chance, because we've seen Alex make some small errors under pressure, haven't we, before? So yeah, it could all come down to how close he can run Alex. He's running in very close, almost giving him a little push down to the old hairpin here through the crane of curves. Alex hits his apex very nicely there, though, gets a great exit. So Roger the Dodger's going to be nowhere near, I would have thought, as they head up to McLean's now and through Coppice. Will be his next chance going on to the back straight, I'd imagine. Yeah, Alex Brown will be watching his wing mirrors really closely here, and Roger the Dodger will be watching every little move that McLaren makes and every little outbreaking manoeuvre that he makes, and he's done it already. Alex Brown is off. That's the thing I was talking about. He's made the small error and he's given away the position now, and Roger Dodger excellently put Alex Brown under pressure there and forced that error, didn't he? And Alex now would be kicking himself, but he has to quickly regather himself now and get back down to the job of catching him.
Yeah, that's pretty unlucky. He has cut the S's there. Yeah, probably just looked in the mirror for a split second, just going over the crest there, and the car went straight on. So really unlucky, but like you said, sometimes makes a little mistake, as looks like this battle's hotting up with Alex catching Stu in 6th. It's, especially after that lap with Alex doing 1:28. But you can see the different lines going into Redgate there. Alex takes quite a wide line, almost using the pit road, which you have to be careful of with cars coming out of, where Stu takes a more traditional line. So really shows the differences on where they feel comfortable with the cars.
Yeah, it's a good point, especially that corner. It looks, when you look at it on a track guide or something, it looks relatively straightforward, just a hairpin. But really, it's a little bit more to it than that, isn't it? You can either hug the inside line and lose a little bit of exit speed, but gain it on the entry, or you can break deeper into the corner and line the car back up for a better exit, can't you? And what do you reckon's best? It depends on what the car is that you're driving? Yeah,
it definitely depends on the car and especially the driver as well. Everyone will have their different preferences, especially if the car's suffering with understeer. It's looking like it's pretty close between these two again, but the lap times are so close, it's going to be hard to see anyone actually catching up without a mistake. You'll have to see as they go across the line, if the camera still follows them, see what this lap times they were doing on this lap, just to see if Stu's catching in the clear air, or if Cherryberry's indeed pushing.
But thankfully for us, it is a track that punishes errors, isn't it? With those gravel traps and large expanses of grass and big fields that the drivers need to ask for directions to get back to the racetrack on, rather than just tarmac. See Alex there using all of the road and a bit more, the pit exit as well, to get the maximum speed through the first corner. He really knows how to place his car, doesn't he, going through that corner? You can see that. And he's gaining now all the way down the crane of curves as a result on the Crazy Stewpot. And looking at the back of that number 4 Audi R8, I've learnt it now, it's number 4, and coming out with the old hairpin. Alex has got a great run here in that fantastic livery of the Mercedes, the Gulf livery there, classic iconic livery, and I think Crazy Stewpot probably wouldn't be thinking it's a classic iconic livery right now. He'd probably rather it wasn't there.
He's pretty sick of it after all these battlings. It's so close between the two. Just shows how good a run Alex had on that first bit. But talking of lap times just a minute ago between Stu and Cherryberry, they're almost identical on that last lap, both doing 1:29.5s. But you see Alex now looking on the outside. It's not really a place you can overtake on the outside unless you're really brave. Both squarely through there. Alex looking on the outside. I wonder if he'll try the cut back again. He's done that on a few drivers now, but I think Stu might be wise to that. Just slow up a bit more, force Alex wide. But he's looking for it. Didn't quite get it, but he's got, looks like, the inside line for the next hairpin. Has he got it? Stu breaks a bit deeper. He's going to try and get the cut back. Will Alex be wise to it? Yeah, he just holds up a bit, then forces Stu to break, and now they both go down to Redgate. Such a close battle.
I have to say, that was... Yeah, it's a really tense battle. I have to say, it was excellent driving from both of them. Very intelligent racecraft from both of them there. Alex to get through in the end, but also Stu and Crazy Stewpot, like how he was fighting back there and lining his car up for a better exit each time, and also trying to predict what Alex was going to do, because you know the car behind some of these corners, you can either use the cutback, you have to try and defend from that by going slower on the apex, but then of course you leave yourself open to attack by just driving straight around the outside then, isn't it? So although it's, you know, it's sometimes easier to have track position, it's not always the case, because you kind of have to predict the driver what he's going to do behind you, isn't it? And depends on who that driver is as well. And this time round, Crazy Stewpot didn't quite predict what Alex was going to do, and Alex did a great pass on him. But yeah, really, really good racing between the pair of them. And now Scuderia Sam in the pits from second.
Yeah, see where he comes out. He'll be hoping to at least come out ahead of Stu. Looks like he might come out behind Chris, but Chris hasn't pitted yet. But he was a bit further back than you'd expect, so I wonder if he's made a mistake or he's also pitted. It's hard to tell, really. Hopefully it'll cut to him. But he's out in front of Cherry Berry. That's I know they had their incident, but that's a great bit of work there by Scuderia Sam. And Chris did pit, so see where he drops back now. It's going to be close. That's Cherry Berry through. Looks like Stu's through as well. Oh, he's right by Alex. This is quite surprising. You wouldn't think he'd be that far back unless Alex and Stewpot have really put pace on.
Yeah, this is really interesting, actually. I mean, Alex and Stewpot aren't particularly quick. 29.5 there from Alex the last time round. I think that might have been in clear air as well, which, is a handy lap time, but it's nowhere near as quick as Cherry Berry's 28.6 or Subrosa's 28.7, for example. But yeah, look at how close it is now between Chris and Alex. These two battle each other for championships in the past, rubbing wheels, and and Alex just about gets past. That was incredible, that was. And Chris Doherty probably wouldn't be thinking it's incredible. He smashes his way through the marker board there out of disgust at Alex's manoeuvre. But he's really on the charge now in that green Lambo. That's what we like to see, a Lambo on a charge. And he's trying to catch Alex again, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, because Alex seems to be on a mission right now, trying to pass everything he comes up against. But Chris Doherty, straight out of the pits, he's going to be under pressure here as well from Crazy Stewpot. We know Chris Doherty is an extremely good racer. He's a real-life racing driver as well over in Ireland. But at the moment, he's got his work cut out, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got two fast drivers around him. I think coming out the pits, so when he did, was really unlucky because his tyres would have cooled down a bit, so he would have lost a bit of traction. So that could be why Alex. A bit of a bump there. Stu telling him to hurry up. He wants to catch Alex again. But yeah, a bit less traction. That might be the reason why Alex caught him so fast and tried his luck around the outside. And for him, luckily, I think it was more luck than anything. Got around, but you can really see Stu here pressuring Chris, but. You can see Chris' tyres seem to have got up to temperature again now, and he's sort of got the traction again.
Yeah, when they were rubbing doors like that, I mean, that's pretty much as hard as you can get away with, isn't it, with hard racing? I mean, any more than that, and you're both going to be off. And they got a little bit lucky at it, actually, that they didn't take each other off. But Chris Doherty takes himself off there a little bit. Just seems to be on a mission now, just to destroy as many marker boards as possible.
Yeah. But what these two have to remember is Alex has a penalty over his head, which is still to be decided, as Stu cuts that corner completely, really trying to get past the Lamborghini. But they could still get 5th and 6th if they play it smart and not make any mistakes, but they won't care about that. They want to be racing and try and get us higher up points. So Stu completely cuts the ass there, but it messes up badly for him. The car didn't like that at all, and Chris just pulls away.
Yeah, that's the thing about that chicane. It looks like a very tempting place to take a sneaky shortcut, but actually it's very bumpy, and like you say, it does unsettle the car on the exit there, so it's probably best avoided. But Subrosa's Porsche we're looking at now, the number 16 car, seems to be on his own since the early laps, and although it looks like he's just plain sailing walking away with it, I'm sure he's absolutely on the limit every single lap, because although he's got a bit of an advantage now, quite possibly, when he makes his pit stop and comes out ahead of everyone else by the looks of it, if you look at the lap times, there's only tenths per lap that he's faster than the chasing pack, and I think he's got Scuderia Sam covered, to be honest. Very doubtful that he's going to pass Subrosa when Subrosa pits, but you never know. I think Subrosa might be in the pits now, actually, is he?
I think
he's already pitted, sorry. Yes, He's already pitted.
Yeah, I think he pitted that last time. Stu really hammers that Merc around corner there, absolutely getting the four-wheel slide on. That's great driving there. He's really trying to catch Cherry Berry for that podium. I see Roger now down in 8th, and with Alex and D-Man behind him for the last 3 points positions. It looks like Alex and D-Man are pretty close, unless that's a different car. No, that looks like Loopy McGee, so that could be Loopy McGee down a place, you'd have to imagine, because you can't see where Dara is.
Yeah, we haven't seen D-Man very much in this race in the yellow Ferrari, have we, unfortunately? We saw him go off a couple of times. But it'd be nice if he was battling away with this lot as well. But like you say, he's getting back up to speed with his steering wheel setup at the moment. So let's hope that trend continues and he does get back up to speed for the rest of the championship, because he's an extremely fast driver on his day when everything clicks. And yeah, we've seen him win races in the past too, haven't we? But right now, here and now, it is a battle here between Roger the Dodger in the Renault, Alex Brown in the McLaren, and who else was that? Was it Loopy McGee?
Yeah, it looks like Loopy with the number ones on the side, but shows the pace of Alex. He's caught Roger back up after a spin earlier in the race, so this still could be on. Our prediction of Alex getting ahead of Roger could still happen.
Yeah, it's anyone's bet, to be honest. Alex Brown, we've seen him make good manoeuvres in the past, so he seems to be a turn one specialist. He seems to qualify low down and then absolutely nail it in turn one and get up to a lofty position. The first, second, thirds he's had out of turn one before, but sometimes it all goes wrong for him in the lap after that. But right now he's chasing harder for Roger the Dodger, and he really wants his 8th position, doesn't he? And you see how he tackles on board now, riding on the bumper. You can see the sensation of speed. He's run a little bit wide out of old hairpin. That won't help him very much. But where's the best place, do you think, he's going to have Roger if he gets close enough?
Probably, if he's close enough, the Melbourne hairpin or into the last corner. They're both heavy braking. So you see a replay here of Alex's move on Chris. If you looks like, yeah, just bit of contact there. You can hear the doors banging. Chris was quite nice in there. He could have really forced him. Now outside of Chris, the world's fastest cameraman. Yeah, you can really see them just bumping and barging each other, and someone off in the background there. Looks like didn't see that earlier.
Quite possibly went off at the amazement of what happened just there with the wheels and doors banging. I think there'll be a nice green scratch down the side of that Mercedes now after that contact with the like a nice Irish green flash along the side of the Mercedes, I reckon. But anyway, Subrosa now in the Porsche. He's clearly cruising to a win. He's 13 seconds ahead of second. This is going to be by far the biggest margin we've had in the championship so far. We've seen him fast in the first two races where he was battling and got third position off Roger the Dodger in the closing stages at Nürburgring, and he's already celebrating by the looks of it. Don't celebrate too early, Subrosa. You never know what could go wrong. We know what happens in sport if you celebrate too early. But anyway, he seems to be quite confident he's going to take the win here. And then he was he had to come back from a few incidents, didn't he, at Long Beach, but he did manage to do it back into 5th, chasing Scuderia Sam's Ferrari hard actually in the last few laps. Didn't quite catch him though in the end. But yeah, that speed has finally come to fruition at this track, hasn't it? And he's coming up to the last corner now, and he's definitely going to take this win, Alex.
Yeah, great win there from Subrosa. Didn't quite get he's ready, celebrating, flashing the lights. He's well happy with his first win in the GT3 and with the championship. So happy he puts in the wall. But yeah, congratulations to Subrosa. Great win from Scuderia Sam, who might think himself fortunate with Cherryberry and Stu's incident, but that really helps his championship, with Cherryberry coming home 3rd, and should be Stu pretty close behind, who seems to be happy with 4th, or he's having to go at Cherryberry.
Yeah, probably that as well, to be honest. Probably still reeling from the incident earlier. And Alex, fantastic recovery drive to come back to 5th. It shows the pace that he had, to be honest, to come back 5th there. And crossing the line there, I think that was, who else was that? Chris Doherty, was it?
Yeah, it looks like the two Irish lads, they're coming through, they're usually close together with, I think that was Stu Pot just behind Chris. Obviously Roger and Alex still battling away, but Roger just wins out for 8th place, so that's home 9th. With, looks like Dima's already passed for 10th, and then Loopy McGee for 11th.
Yeah, Loopy McGee really chasing hard all the way to the finish there. Didn't quite catch him in the end though. But anyway, yes, Subrosa confirmation. He takes the maximum 25 points on offer here, and this is really going to supercharge his championship bid. And one of his nearest rivals, Roger the Dodger, all the way down in 8th with the poorly performing Renault at Donington. So that's not going to help him very much, but it will help Subrosa's chances. Scuderia Sam consistent points again in 2nd there, and Cherryberry as well. He's the only driver now, Cherryberry, to get podiums in every single race in this championship, and that really helps him out as he's top of the leaderboard with 58 points, but only 3 ahead of Scuderia Sam, who is himself only 5 ahead of Subrosa, really close at the top there now with 3 different car manufacturers as well. Then we've got Stuart Davis in the Mercedes, Roger Dodger there still in 5th in the Renault, Chris Doherty in the Lambo, Crazy Stewpot in 7th in the Audi, Alex Brown in the McLaren in 8th, Luke McGee in another Audi in 9th, Alex CDL in 10th, but he has scored his first points eventually. So what can we expect at the next race, Alex? At a wet Barcelona, quite possibly.
Yeah, not the full track, it's the national track. Hopefully pretty close and quite difficult as it will be wet conditions, but I believe also in that result Alex did get a 20-second penalty, so he dropped back down to 7th. But join us for the next round, and if you enjoyed the race, please subscribe and join us next time.
Exactly, don't forget to subscribe. You will get notifications when all our recent races get uploaded, and we look forward to having you on board again at a wet Barcelona at the next round, round 4. See you there.